What's going on, my friends? Cubs fan Hunt here for yet another Star Wars Galaxy of Heroes video. And my friends, we have got a very special guest with us today. The one, the only, the legend himself, Heinzie. What's going on, Heinzie? Welcome to the channel.
Cubs fan Han, my man, thank you so much for having me with you. I bow at the feet of your awesomeness, my friend. Thank you. It is an honor. It is an honor.
Heinzie's a great example, my friends. I've said for a long time, there are a lot of people not making content for this game that should be, that really know the game. Took you a while to get here, but I'm glad you're here now. I shared a while ago your Relic 7, or sorry, your guide to get General Skywalker through that event. I thought it was just a great guide you had. And if you guys check out his channel right here, I would highly encourage you guys to subscribe. You're just getting started, right, Heinzie?
Just warming up, my friend. It's heaps more fun coming your way. And yeah, thank you so much for all your work so far, brother. It's been amazing.
Thank you for yours. I mean, I was making my video for Anakin, and I thought, you know what? This guy Heinzie, he's done it better than I could ever do it. So you guys should just go watch him. And now today, Heinzie, tell me a little bit about what we're doing today.
Okay, so let's get into it. Let's get into the top 10 squads in Star Wars Galaxy Heroes up until this point. I'm super excited about this list, my friend, and it's going to be an absolutely interesting list. A lot of things to look at, a lot of strategies to work through, and whether you agree with the list or not, it's going to be fun.
Oh, somebody won't agree with it. You know that's true. But let's start with number 1. Number 10, I should say. Darth TRAI. Why is TRAI in at number 10? So she did make the list, but let's focus on why she's lower on the list.
Well, TRAI, as you know these days, is mainly only useful for taking on the Geonosians in the majority of cases. So at the end of the day, the drain, of course, from Scion, the pain, they basically drain themselves. And apart from Geonosians, really you wouldn't use TRAI for much else these days because the rest of the teams on the list will wipe it pretty quick.
Yeah, it's what we were talking about before. We initially had her a bit higher on the list, actually, while we were talking through this, and we realized, you know what? Where are we using TRAI nowadays? And there's other teams that just get a lot more use. And for example, a character that actually bumped TRAI down on the list is Commander Luke Skywalker. And tell me why Commander Luke kicked out TRAI from the number 9 spot.
Well, it's obvious. Obviously, these days he's taking out our man, General Skywalker, who is just really easy to get these days, isn't he? So at the end of the day, what we find is that it's just the guard, of course, from Chewbacca, the turn meter reductions, the hits from Han, and of course the assists from Chewie as well, just really make this team sing and just really do massive damage really quickly.
And something I will note is all of these characters here have some variance on what their ideal squad is. You'll see here we got Grand Admiral Thrawn in here. That's more specific to this counter here. You don't have to have Grand Admiral Thrawn in your CLS team to counter gas, but it is he's having Fracture on your team is always going to help you counter just about anything, frankly, because it's just such a great ability. But all of these squads here will have some variance. We're going to talk about them more generally, and a lot of them have kind of a core 3 characters, right? And so in this case, Commander Luke, Han, and Chewie are the core 3, and then the last 2 are pretty flex. All right, let's talk about the next one on the list. Number 8 is the Geonosians. I like the Geonosians a lot. I don't know about you. I think this is one of my favorite things to come out of Galaxy of Heroes in 2019.
They're a fun team to play. It's as simple as that. They are just fun, and there's nothing wrong with having a fun team out there. Obviously, with this team, it's key to have, of course, the Geonosian Brood Alpha, GBA, Geonosian Brood Alpha, with the Zeta on him, of course, to get that brute out there.
Very important. Yep.
But Spy does the damage in this team. It's as simple as that. He just hits like a truck. He will just one-shot people, and any team that can one-shot an enemy has got to be a very good team.
Always usable. And Spy, I mean, even when you're using the go-to counter for the bugs, using TRAI, of course, if you're not careful, you got a Relic Spy will come out there and just mollywop your Scion, and it could be game over for you fast. So I've learned personally, I do not mess around with bugs anymore. I'm not risking anything. I used to kind of go, all right, we're just going to do TRAI Scion. No! None of that for me anymore.
No. Relics play such a big factor into these teams in general these days. If you come up against a higher Relic one with a lower TRAI team, Scion just can't get protected enough before they actually get up and running, and they can just absolutely destroy you very quickly, certainly.
Absolutely. All right, let's talk about the next team on the list. Number 7 is Night Sisters. Now, the Night Sisters have just tons of viability, and I think something that a lot of people do not realize is just how unbelievably powerful a Relic 7 Talzin can be.
Absolutely. The whole Night Sisters, a lot of people obviously build a lot of defense around using Night Sisters in their PvP use. So, again, the Plague, throwing the Plague around with those revives. Darker, I highly recommend relicking Darker, to be honest, because the revives, they just keep coming back and coming back and coming back. It's a really such a solid team, and you do need, if you have a turn meter loaded Sisters team, you're in trouble, my brother. It's so difficult to take out.
And
really
that's just the PvP component. Like they're going to be unbelievable in Grand Arena territory wars, but Night Sisters are one of the best possible raid teams you could have, and they're going to be fantastic in Geonosian territory battles. They're one of the few teams that can really get to the end. That reviving, how tanky Daka gets, all of that is going to be huge for territory battles. So there's just so much all-around use you get out of these characters. I don't think anyone in the history of Galaxy of Heroes has ever regretted farming Night Sisters.
Not at all. Not at all. You cannot go wrong with that, certainly.
Definitely. All right, number 6 on the list is Jedi Knight Revan. Wow, all the way down to number 6. Why did we do that? Why did we take him all the way down to number 6?
Well, the problem is obviously Jedi Knight Revan is amazing. And very, very plug and play. He attacks so well against many enemies, but the problem is there are a few now these days that are out there that can actually take him out reasonably quickly. So he was obviously what you would call a standard, he was a meta team. We know that. We used him in Arena. I used him in Arena as well for a while. But as soon as obviously Darth Revan came out and some other ones, of course, he did lose his luster slightly, unfortunately. Yeah.
Now, here, one reason why I think I like him probably where he's at on the list is, for me, he's kind of been isolated to this use right here. This is footage from Mobile Gamer, and this is how I use my Jedi Revan under a Bastila lead to beat Grievous teams. It's the most comfortable counter there, but he's kind of just been forced into that location for me because he's one of the few things that will actually handle Grievous confidently. There's other things that can do it, but for me personally, it's the only team that I feel like, all right, I know I can win with this. And Correct. So he's kind of been a little more limited in his use. And so, yeah, I think it's probably right. And more than anything, not just a reflection of Jedi Revan himself, but the teams that are to come, how solid they are.
Correct, absolutely. And something I'd recommend as well is obviously relicking our man Jolie Bindo, having him with the revive. You want him to obviously revive, bring them back in case things go a little bit sideways. I have him relicked. Highly, highly recommend that.
All right, let's talk about the next one. Coming in at number 5, we have got Shakti clones. Tell me a little bit about Shak. Why are we putting Shak here?
Well, obviously, just what she brings to the clones, she can make them sing. I mean, a lot of people obviously don't have.
Did you just say she can make them sing?
She can make them sing.
I like that. She just butters them right up, makes them purr like a kitty.
Doesn't quite sing like we know the world famous hit Leia's mom, but that's a but at the end of the day, the Shakti clones, the retribution, obviously the protection and the assists and everything she brings to those clones can just really make them extremely solid and a good, obviously, replacement option if you haven't got General Skywalker.
And you know where the most unbelievable place to use Shakti and her clones is?
Mm-hmm.
The heroic tank raid. She could solo the whole thing in under 15 minutes. Isn't that what you need? Brilliant. A full solo in under 15 minutes for heroic tank? I don't know about you, but I'm clamoring for more heroic tank raid teams.
Absolutely. Well, is this raid simmed yet? Because at the end of the day,
it's the second hardest raid in the game, right?
Because we get so many of those raids. A whole different story. Sorry. Oops. Look, at the end of the day, it is a really, really good, solid team. It just really, really just makes them dance. Again, just another fun team like the Bugs. They're just really fun to play. And the retribution, the hits, the output.
Totally.
Just makes them really, really solid and quite hard to take down if you're not careful. And if they're modded really well, they're very, very dangerous.
I love those clones. They're going to have a lot of use in this game, even later on. All right, number 4 on the list, General Skywalker. Oh my gosh! We put him all the way down at number 4. Now, I'm going to be honest. I had a hard time with this one because this was you, actually. You said, no, I think they should be number 4. I disagreed at first, but you sold me on it. So, Heinzie, sell my audience on why we got General Skywalker only at number 4 on the list.
Okay, simple Simple thing is this. Firstly, at the end of the day, people don't build their defense too much around General Skywalker, just due to the fact that they don't even have him yet at this stage.
Right.
But at the end of the day, people obviously build them around teams like, of course, Revan and Grievous and a few other ones, Padme, of course, as well. But if a team like CLS, who is obviously lower on our list, can obviously take out General Skywalker, just brings him back a few pegs for me. At the end of the day, I just don't think he's as solid as the ones above him on the list at this stage.
Interesting. Yeah, and I think maybe if you're looking pound for pound, who's the strongest team in the game, Skywalker might be there. But when you're actually looking at it in practice, what can beat him and how vital the other teams are over him. I mean, for example, for me personally, I don't have General Skywalker. I'm still able to take first in my arena when I take the time to do it. If I do, like today, I only took second because I was at a movie, for example. But if I take the time, put the effort in, I'm going to get there, and I can beat the Relic 7 General Skywalkers in my arena shard. But I'm surviving without him. I'm
Correct.
surviving without him. The other teams, I don't
using,
feel like I could survive without.
I agree. I'm using Revan myself with him at the moment, Darth Revan, to take out gas on my arena climb.
It works.
It does work, and it's tricky, but it certainly does work. And there's just those few little things.
I've lost battles. I've lost battles. Yeah, don't get me wrong. It's not perfect.
Certainly not, and nothing is in arena these days. It's a speed war. We know that, but at the end of the day, I just find that he's fantastic. He's a massive investment for a character. We know that you need about 20,000 Zetas for him. But at the end of the day, once you get them all up and running to seven relics, the relic 7 levels across all those clones and General Skywalker, they'll certainly be really tough to beat. But at this stage of the game, the way things play out, he's just a little bit lower than the ones above him, in my opinion.
All right, number 3 on the list is Padme. I really like Padme up here. Padme is an incredible defensive team. Putting her on defense is never depressing. She can beat gas. She can. Tell me one team Padme can't manage beating. Is there one team in this game that she just cannot beat?
Not that I'm aware of, no.
Tell me what it is.
At the end of the day, I'm sure that sometimes she can get caught out on more of the General Skywalker with the high relic ones. I think that's certainly an issue for her. And some gas, I've been up a few with my Padme and have been caught short. So that's probably the only thing I personally struggle with at that point. But
even then, if you have full relics on her, you can beat Relic 7 gas teams. You can do it.
Absolutely. You can do it. You're
going to have good mods.
Have some really, really bad RNG and some great mods. And as I said, if you get caught out on a bad day, that can certainly go sideways very, very quickly. If you obviously lose someone like Anakin who does so much damage, and obviously you also lose Kenobi, of course, and quite often the AI targets Padme straight off the bat. Well, all of a sudden you lose all of that beautiful courage and all the other assist and protection up. So it can go sideways if you're not careful. But overall, probably one of the most viable teams to use in either offense or defense, certainly.
There's nothing more satisfying than seeing the Chosen One just AoE for like 90,000 damage plus, get a lot of courage on him and just bam!
Again, just a fun team, and you're my friend, of course, Scotty McLaren. He loves Padme. It is she is his queen. It's as simple as that, and it is just a fun team to play with. It really is.
If you're watching this footage right now, this comes from my friend Turtle Powers in the guild, and he beat a Relic 7 gas team here with 5 standing still. 5 standing.
And that just
look at that.
It's
a Relic 7 gas.
If you've got it tuned really well, they're virtually very, very difficult to beat.
Yep.
On the right occasion. Certainly.
Probably my favorite investment in this game right now. Padme.
I agree.
My favorite investment. All right. Number 2 on the list is General Grievous. Now, I would say the gap between Grievous and Padme is small. Why do you think we give the edge to Grievous here on this one?
Well, again, it's hard to hit him in a lot of cases, obviously, with a really solid Magna Guard. I've got a Relic 7 Magna Guard in mine, and they just cannot get to him. That's the trick. No. And obviously, the output he gives, and what a lot of people obviously have started using is they've even started using Wat Tambor in this team, in this lineup as well, and handing that tech around. If you give him the weapon mod, give Grievous the weapon mod, he just tears teams apart. And really, that's something that, again, he will just, you need to build a defense, or you need to build an attack strategy around this team, and any team that does that, it's got to be high on the list.
Yeah, and I think that's a good point. You build an attack strategy around it. Like, for example, I never put my Jedi Revan on defense, which might be a very good move for me, but I just have to have my Jedi Revan available to hit General Grievous, because I just don't feel like there's any other way for me to handle General Grievous. And so whenever they've got him, I'm going to save my Jedi Revan. And so it's almost like a permanent way to get Jedi Revan off the table for Grand Arena opponents.
Couldn't agree more.
For me.
And if you do use him in attack, you can use him virtually against anyone. And at the end of the day, he's
who won't Grievous beat? The only thing I can think of is Gas. I haven't seen very many people beating Gas with him, but I'm guessing people have.
All of these are getting close. They're getting close to that whole rock, paper, scissors that they were talking about, some months ago, to be honest, with these teams we're talking about right now. So any team modded correctly and obviously using the correct strategy can take any other team out, but it's the RNG and obviously
maybe not any, like a full Relic 7 Cup Mob Enforcer team is probably not going to take anybody out.
Well, mine's going to Gear 13 soon, my Cup, so that's a whole different story. But at the end of the day, that's going to be brutal when that's up and running. But my Relic 4 Rose Tico is looking very brutal these days as well, my friend. But anyway, we shall move on.
Number 1 on the list, you guys have guessed it by now, it is Darth Revan. I actually really think Darth Revan should be number 1 right now still. When you get him at Relic 7, he just shreds, especially when you've got Sith Marauder in the mix. Relic 7 Sith Marauder. What is better than Relic 7 Sith Marauder? And then this is your favorite counter right here. Darth Revan with Wat Tambor going up against Gas. It just counters it very, very well. And if you don't have your Gas modded right, you get in trouble against Darth Revan still.
Absolutely. Just gives it that extra speed. Revan is just an incredible character. Obviously, Malik as well, that whole team, the way that they just synergize so well. And they do it to great effect is just absolutely brutal. The Basti meditation, of course, thrown around the place just, nullifies the opposition. And again, as soon as you throw Marauder in there, getting the potency up, of course, as well. He one-shot hits people. I still use him myself after all of these months as my arena team. So any team that's got that sort of viability over the long term, he is just an incredible team and fully deserves number 1 at this point.
And something I always like about Darth Revan too is when you put him on defense, if you can afford to put him on defense in Grand Arena, people might find ways to beat him, but nobody's going to beat him with high banners. If you've got a good Darth Revan team, at a minimum, they're going to waste one of their best teams against him, probably their best, and they're also going to be dealing with having their banners stripped from the battle,
absolutely.
Which makes a huge difference, right?
It does, and it comes down to strategy as well. You need a very, very take that team down, and anything that does that virtually drains a team from your attack strategy has to be obviously up there at the top, certainly.
Yep. All right. Well, there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. There is the final list, the top 10 squads in this game. Let us know down in the comments below how you would order this list. What teams did we maybe miss? And what would what adjustments would you make? Let us know. And then once again, Heinzie, thank you so much for joining me for this video. If you guys have not subscribed to him yet, go ahead and do so. I got a link down below in the description. Before we end the video, Heinzie, what words of wisdom do you have to part this video with for all of the lovely ladies and gentlemen out there watching on the pooper?
Well, harder. Simple as that. No, I'm kidding. Look, at the end of the day,
Heinzie works for CG Confirmed.
No, I do not. I've got too much sense for that. Anyway, whole different story. Just kidding, guys. Love you, CG. You know that. No, look, pretty simple, guys. Enjoy the game. It's a game. We love it. It's all about Star Wars. It's as simple as that. Please do everything you can to enjoy it. Help people out that need it. And really, enjoy what we're doing. Let us know if there's anything else we need to do to improve, because that's all we want to do. We want to do that to help you guys and just build a really wonderful community that is insane already at this point.
That's very touching. I like it. Brother. Thank you very much. Well, Heinzie, I think this is the beginning of a beautiful relationship. We're going to keep doing videos over here. No, you know what? Actually, none of that, though. No, I don't know what you're doing down in Australia, but we don't kiss up here in America.
The love is real, bro.
I'm just playing. All right, everyone. Thanks again for joining us for the video. Have a great night, everyone. And as always, my brothers, don't forget